It'll take me about 2 minutes to get my guest on, as well as get my show live on the website. So if you just bear with me for about a minute and a half here, and if you're coming in later after we've recorded the show, just you can just fast forward about a minute or a minute and a half, and you'll see the spot where we actually start the live broadcast. So I've just about got myself live on the website here. Just bear with me about 2 more seconds, and I would hope that Tommy Humphreys, my guest today, will be on by then. I am a couple minutes early here, so just bear with us if it takes Tommy a couple minutes. What I'm going to also do is I'll text him the link, make sure he knows that we are ready to roll. Okay, so he's got the message. Yeah, we'll get started here any second. I believe we are live on my website now. I'm just going to make sure of that. But yes, we are live. So we are still in the pre-show part. I'm just waiting for Tommy. Anybody in the chat already watching? Benjamin, are you watching the show? Send the message in the text to Tommy. We need our boy Tommy in the show. I guess I could start by really introducing why I invited Tommy on the show. I don't want to start here in case he has any problems coming on. Just bear with us for a couple more seconds, folks, while I await my friend Tommy. Again, we are live here. This is the pre-show broadcast. When you come to the recording later, just fast forward to the first couple minutes, and you'll find where the show actually starts. What I've done now is I've sent Tommy the address to the show. Haven't heard him yet. What I'm going to do is give him a call. See what's up with our main man, Tommy Humphreys. Where are you, Tommy? There's Tommy. Oh,
hey there, buddy.
There's my man, Tommy boy.
What's up, Al?
You're here and you're live.
I'm live.
Awesome, Tommy. Thanks for coming on.
So you're calling me right now.
Chat. Oh, sorry, that's me calling you. I've been sort of pre-show taping here. I'm going to get started right now. We got everything rolling. So on that note, I'm Allan Laboucan. I'm the founder of the Allan Reports and the host of the show. Got a very special guest today, Tommy Humphreys. Tommy is not only someone who I admire in the business, he's done a great job with his CEO.ca. He's also created a great app, chat.ceo, for investors. And I consider him my friend, and I think of him as a mensch. So thank you very much for coming on today, Tommy.
Thanks, Allan. I'm happy to be here and glad to see the momentum building and in both in the market and also with your little business. And good to see you looking so slim.
Well, thank you. I've been working hard on it. Before we get started, though, Tommy, you know the routine. I introduced my website.
Yeah, no.
And one of my first, the recent one is Premier Gold Mines, PG, on the Toronto Exchange. Got a great group of properties there. Tommy, are you?
What's the market cap on that?
Pardon me?
What's the market cap on Premier?
Premier Gold.
I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, you pull it up for me there.
They got 550 million.
Yep, and they've got probably over 10% of that in cash. They're in a building phase of a project in Ontario with a partner that's putting up the cash to build it. They've got a producing property in Nevada with Barrick. They've got an exploration play down there, and then they've got their exploration play up in Red Lake, Ontario, as with Goldcorp as a partner.
Yeah, well, I think Brent Cook covers it. Him and you. So there's some good people that are, I guess, vouching for it. You and Downey has an amazing track record, and I don't know if he's got 80 or 100 million dollars worth of stock in his own name. So you've got a CEO who's motivated to get out of bed in the morning. I love that, and I love the gold that's in the gold space. And my buddy JC Peretz that we put up the charts to make money in gold. He thinks we're going to see a fast move to 1,500, and it doesn't matter if you're in Premier or something less Premier. It's going to make money if that happens. So I think you got a good quality sponsors in Premier, and Wolfton, obviously a much more junior name, is also doing some interesting stuff. So good for you to be associated with good companies and good groups, Allan.
Well, what I've always tried to do with my sponsors, Tommy, is they fall into the same rules as companies that I try to pick. I try to have sponsors that are companies I'd want to pick as well. And so I'm very lucky to have them, and I'm working on some more too.
So if I got 10 grand, do I buy 5 of each or 7,500 into Premier and 25 into Wolfton? What do you think?
Well, taking your age into consideration and also taking your risk profile, I think you're able to take a lot more risks than most would. And I don't know about your gambling bent. I imagine there's a healthy amount to that. So I'd probably put a little more, maybe 60-40 into the junior exploration side.
Well, I'm sure this Premier's got to be the safer bet of the two.
Absolutely. And that's why I preambled with that stuff about your age and stuff like that, Tommy.
Well, the Wolfton chart looks like when you came in and started put your pom-poms on in early October, it bottomed, and I think there's probably good reason for that stock to go up too. And Kip likes it from CEO, and I think both of them are pretty solid. I think PG might be the next major. I got to say I like Sabina better. But that's because I'm biased, and I just ran into Bruce in the Bentall cafeteria while I was getting my lunch, and he made me say that. He wanted to say hi, Allan, too.
Okay, I got to get Bruce on the show. He's been a guest, and he is one of those are 2 of my 5 gold picks, actually. So I can't argue with SBB as well. I think I'm always looking for quality, and I think both of those companies in the gold space are, and that's why I picked them. And I'm also I like to gamble a little, so I need some exploration potential in my portfolio as well there, Tommy.
Not sure all those companies have it.
I want to get on to why I got you on the show today, Tommy.
Diamonds, baby.
What's that?
I thought we were going to talk about diamonds.
No, I want to talk about your chat site. I think you've built a tool there, and I've said this to people behind your back, in front of your face, the whole works. I think you built a tool there that all public companies and investors in this space have to be paying attention to. You recently launched a new interface, so there's a new look and feel to the chat site. And I mentioned when you guys first came out with it that I've been in stock chat sites since the mid '90s, and this is it is the best chat site that I've ever participated in. So congratulations, and let's talk about the features and why you did it and stuff like that, Tom.
Well, thank you, Allan, for your content and contributions to the chat site and your praise and plugs. And it's a long story and a short story. I thought the market needs to have this. The Canadian venture market needed a stock twits-like product where everybody could be social, and I think Stockhouse was built a huge, great community, but the technology was tough and old, and so I was interested to make a product that I wanted to use for the investors, to bring social media and crowdsourced intelligence sharing to this venture investing community, which was so beat up. And so about 15 months ago, I met Murat Eifer, who's the consulting CTO at CEO.ca, and Christopher Reed, who's working with Murat as a web developer. And we went forward with a plan to make a simple messaging framework that we could start to chat and create channels and build stocks onto a basic chat. And that you've seen it evolve from last January when it came on till now. So I've always wanted to merge the basic chat and messaging framework with our publication that we were running at CEO.ca. So the recent update is basically progress in the vision to merge chat and our publication. So probably next Wednesday, I think is the tentative date, we're going to move the chat.ceo.ca site to CEO.ca, which is something I'm really excited about because I wanted to do that a year and a half ago. And I'm really excited for this technology platform to take over the domain that we have. And I'm really excited that now it's not just me at CEO who's writing. We obviously have James and Kip and other contributors, but now anyone who's a member of CEO.ca can come and quickly post an article. And I think it's just making better information accessible to everyone. I think if you're doing due diligence on venture stocks and you don't search those securities in our app, that you may miss something. And it's a platform that
one of my favorite things, Tommy, is the real-time analysis, high-quality analysis of news as it's breaking. I mean, I think
cool.
as the market gets stronger, I think that crucial quick analysis is going to be really, really important to investors. It's trying to.
I agree. I think what Rob McLeod has. I think Rob McLeod's comment. He's like a regular user, and somebody's on your show sometimes, a geologist. I think when the market's hot and when that boy puts a chat out about a company that might be arm's length that has results, and as you learn what Rob thinks and what you think, I think people are going to get really excited about that information, and that the people that are in our community are going to definitely have an advantage over the public. But the point is the site is free. The public can participate, and you can have better info on these stocks, I think, by joining a community like ours that's sharing what they know. It's a constructive community that wants, to I guess, to move this market forward with less winners and with less winners than losers,
Right.
I think
more winners than losers.
Yeah, just less dog shit information and clients in the dark. And so I really think the cool thing that's happened is that Akeem, the guy that's on our site that's obsessed with Peregrine,
yes,
on there, but he had this comment about being activist investors, and we're all activist investors now.
Yep.
And with a site like CEO.ca, you can chat
that's both
anonymously.
Tom, as a promoter of the companies you own shares in, and also to put the foot to the fire of management. That
Absolutely
is really crucial.
So I'm excited about I'm really excited about, in the next 2 weeks, you're going to see even more features from us. Like we're building a newsroom that's putting real-time press releases. So if you're subscribing to the Premier or Wolfton channel, they'll zap your phone when there's news without any effort from a human being. And we're doing a few more little cosmetic touch-ups to get ready for March 5th, the conference in Toronto. And I'm really excited about the progress we've made. I do websites in 2 or 3 weeks. This one has been almost a year and a half, and it's been absolutely the biggest investment I've ever made, the biggest project I've ever worked on. And it's something that I'm really excited for the next 20 years.
Well,
and
Tommy,
it's going to get bigger and better.
I've had my foot in the tech space since before I got into the mining space, and I've been around a lot of this stuff, and I'm really stoked about what you've created here.
Thanks, buddy.
All on your own dime, and you've done what I think this is a better interface than StockTwits. I find I find it easier to find what is important to me. The stream is the most important. It's right in the middle. Over to the side, I've got nice articles. And you know what I really like about that? In the past, when I would follow my stream, I'd have to go back to an article now or look up at the top, but I usually had that X'd out because I wanted more stream. Now I just look over to the side. Oh yeah, I wanted to go read that article. Boom, I can click it, and it doesn't affect where I am doing my stuff. And
It's kind of geeky stuff. Like users care about, they can do due diligence on their portfolio. Users don't care about too much technical stuff. But the reason why I get so excited about the site is we built it in 2015 and 2016. Murat and Chris are extremely efficient and using the best modern practice to build a really lean site. It's a tenth the size of Bloomberg or Seeking Alpha or Stockhouse or StockTwits to load. I love StockTwits. I love the founder of StockTwits. Howard Lindsay inspired me. I wanted him to build a product for Canada, but they all turned their nose up at juniors, which I thought was completely asinine. And so finally, I just kind of gave up and had enough extra cash in late 2014 to say, we're going to do this ourselves. So the great thing about building what we're doing now is you can build an amazing web product for. We had the first version of Chat up for $2,500.
wow.
And I know everybody thinks it's just a simple piece of software, but it's not. But you can now do things that are so complicated 5 or 10 years or 20 years ago. And so StockTwits was built in 2008, and I pity them because our technology product is so much more faster and more efficient because we're using the tools that are available to us now. And Stockhouse, which is the gold standard for bullboards in Canada, they have a 20-year-old product and a 20-year-old technical infrastructure that we don't have to worry about. So with relatively low amount of capital, and it's getting significant now, but we're able to do things in the internet space with relatively modest amounts of capital that
Now,
allow us to take time and iterate and experiment with the audience and evolve. Yeah, like I said, I'm so excited to work with Chris and Murat, and also to have a community to work for, and that includes you and everybody on the site. So
yeah, you've touched
clicking.
on something there that I think also is something I wanted to talk about, Tommy. It's my observation. We had a chat at the recent conference in Vancouver about technology and the sector we're in and their adaptation to technology. And you just explained something there that I think is crucially important about how things have changed and how the tools are more powerful and less expensive to do. And what's your view? Do you think, I still think we're at the infant stage of our industry really embracing technology as the tools that it has for marketing?
Yeah, definitely. Well, from a IR perspective and promotion perspective, yeah, they're just scratching the surface of the internet as a medium to do business. And I think it's probably going to be slow because it's people's money at stake, and securities are regulated. But I think 10 years from now it's going to be much different. And my
Yeah, but
plan with
Tommy, also
CEOs.
you gotta, from a company perspective, you gotta look at it and say, well, like I offer a sponsorship program that I confidently believe that I can do 10 times, I can do what a public company can do for 10 times what I charge them to be a sponsor and help get their word out there to a audience that I build up over a long time. And
But the problem with that is the
similar
same
stuff.
problem that existed 20 years ago. And 20 years ago, you would work with a broker, and the broker would find investors, and the broker would, he would sort of work for the client and the company, and keep the investors somewhat patient and long and somewhat in the dark. And the problem was, it was John Kaiser calls the mushroom brokers, started feeding their clients shit to keep them long. And the problem with websites, not yours, but a lot of the websites that are doing business and taking sponsor money and stuff, is they become the mushroom broker of the internet age. It's these websites that are going to tell you good news about the story, regardless of whether it's good or
Yeah, but
not. I don't say you do that, but most of them do that.
in all fairness, Tommy, if I talk to people in Vancouver that are in the business and I mention CEO.ca or the chat, they know what's going on here. I don't think a lot of those other and I think you'll find the same thing about my work. People recognize the work, and if they're recognizing the work and they don't recognize all the other mushroom salesmen out there, that tells a little bit of the story as well about how tuned in they are.
Yeah, well, the fact is that these companies, most junior companies, are crappy little stocks, and they're like Doug Casey calls them burning matchsticks. And as Ben Cox talks about the NPV of the GNA, I mean, the odds are against you from the day one. So, like people shouldn't buy and hold juniors. This is just a speculative space, and you know, um, the we all want the world to run into this sector, but it's the reason why it has its great cycles is people are always buying and selling at the wrong times.
Yeah.
So with you, I like what you're doing because your service cost, it's reasonable and you maintain some independence with the content, and I like what you're doing.
Yeah, to
Absolutely.
do that, I basically nobody gets to edit my work. So my sponsors see my work when my subscribers see my work.
Yeah,
And
your sponsors have balls, but
well, I think that shows a lot about the quality of companies I'm trying to attract as sponsors too, Tom.
and promoters got to sell the truth. In 2016, it has to have a transparent promotion and a balanced promotion, or they're totally lost anyway. And if they want to hide the red flags, they're not going to sell. Chris Perry's a kind of buddy of mine, works at Stockhouse, and he works most of the time on client-related articles. And he said that it's now proven for them the harder they are on a stock, the more reaction in the share price. If you write a puff piece, nobody takes it seriously. But if you want to address what's really wrong with the story, the 21st century investors' ears are open. So I think that's something that not all promoters get yet, but you have to sell the truth now.
Because everything is so transparent now, Tommy. You can find everything out. You got to do it. I've always seen sort of two kinds of people in the mining business. One are trying the quick fix promotion and make a bunch of money that way. And then there's ones that have created real value and have made their shareholders and themselves a lot of money. Those are the companies that I think you want to be focusing on. And I think that that's what's going to be rewarded in the next go around.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just think I want to find people that have good intentions and are really ambitious and want to do something. And I'm sorry to be the guy who turns this into like a licks talk, but like Brian Pace Braga, the Lithium X CEO, is a breath of fresh air to the space. And
Yep.
every time somebody says in this business you get nothing but no's. It's a business of they say the climb the wall of worry, but in venture stocks all you're going to get is pushback. And what I think part of the reason why Licks is being successful so far is that Brian keeps everybody optimistic and he's working so hard on it. So I want to find that the people like him that can be
Also, Tommy, hold on. It's also been built in a proper fashion from day one, and I think it's sort of goes into my argument about quality. Licks has done a really good job the way they've launched the company. They've told
you
their
could say that again.
what's that?
You could say that again.
And
Couldn't have gone any better.
the stock keeps running away from me, so I kind of bad mouthing it every once in a while, so I can see if I can hammer it down on you.
That's okay. I'm in it for the long term anyway, so
someone pitched it to me the other day, and they said that it looks like Licks is trying to build their stock so that they can use it as a currency to build the company. And I thought that's pretty sound reasoning. You can't, if you're going to be an acquirer of assets and part of your payment is stock, you don't want to be paying in lower price stock.
Yeah, you don't want to pay stock in Independence Gold trading at half its cash value. But if you can get a decent market cap, I think the Lundins and other groups have proven that time and time again. If people are willing to pay for your stock, then use it to buy stuff. And Lithium X has had a vision from the beginning, which was like the large lithium companies like Albemarle put out their quarterly results today, and there's other large lithium companies, but the lithium production is a small percentage of their businesses. It's up 15% of Albemarle, I think. And so Lithium X was the thinking: what if we created a vehicle for institutional investors to play this theme? And what would that look like? And what would that need? and we're nowhere even close to that right now. I mean, big institutional money has no way to play lithium space unless they buy a chemicals business with a lot of other stuff in it. And so we want to, with Licks, we're hoping, we're the promotion and the dream of our highly speculative venture is to, to be consolidator and to be that name. And I hope and pray that
Tommy, you
we
said
got a lot of
something
runway.
there that I think all investors should think about every company. You talk about it as it's your own, and it is your
I
own.
feel
You
that
own
way.
shares in the company, and I think that your CEO chat site gives people the chance to tell their thesis of why they bought stock in a company and why they think that
And
company.
and hear what some smart people and some not smart people think about it. I really wanted to ask you about one thing that I saw you put a chat out about the Canalaska diamond targets today.
Yeah,
And so this junior company, it's like 2 million market cap company, announced they staked 65 or 75 kimberlite targets in the Athabasca Basin. And the stock didn't trade today. Like CVV did not trade, or traded 2,000 shares, equivalent of a couple $100.
yeah.
So it's a nothing story, but I bumped into Peter downtown, the CEO today, and he's just saying, we've got the province of Saskatchewan ran a MAG survey in 2011, and it's supposed to be a kilometer of sandstone where they are in the basin. It's a kilometer of sand, and they shouldn't be getting any MAG signature. And some diamond people says these 65, I can't remember the name, targets are look like kimberlite signatures. So he doesn't have, there's indicator minerals down by more like is it Buffalo Creek or
Yes, Buffalo Head.
Buffalo Head. So there's indicators more sort of down ice, southwest of the basin. But I'm interested. I think that's cool. That's interesting prospect for maybe a I'm going to say an area play, but I'd like to see if there are. I mean, he says they're going to get to work and do some prospecting and surface work.
Well, what caught my attention right out of the bat was that it was in the Athabasca Basin, which is, sort of not where a lot of people are looking for diamonds. It's where they look for uranium. I would have, if I was consulting to the company, I would have toned down the promotion a little bit in inquiring these properties. One of the inherent things with geophysics when it comes to kimberlites is that you can get a lot of false positives, Tommy, and that's why the diamond indicator minerals being in close proximity is really, really important. And but I
don't think anybody sampled up there because this is on the northwest side of the basin, so deep no one ever looked for uranium there. It's too deep to drill holes there. So I don't think it's had a good surface season, and we'll see. It'll be exciting if they did have them, wouldn't it? But
now I think if that area is like Saskatchewan, there's a lot of glacial till, so it might be difficult. There might be a lot of cover up of the indicator minerals, but I'm always interested when companies are poking holes in the ground looking for diamonds, Tommy, because I think that Canada will be fine as long as we've been finding gold in Canada. I think we'll be finding diamonds in Canada. It is far, far from heavily explored. I would say that we've only really scratched the surface. And it makes sense. There's indicator minerals there. They may be far away, but there could be a reason for the transport that distance. And
you can map stake. You can map stake on your computer. So maybe Allan Berry Holdings. Maybe stick around them. What are you going to do? So people are talking about you building a junior mining company. Is that going to happen?
Yeah, I think it is. I really got sort of kicked in the butt recently by Rob McLeod, and he was sort of pushing me in that.
He does really like your butt. He told me.
He was pushing me in that direction, and I think that. Yes, I've been sort of formulating the plan for a long time, and I think it's time to get ready to launch something. It will be focused in high-grade gold and diamonds when I get it launched. I will probably try to keep it private for a bit, Tommy, and then launch it as a public company.
Well, I think you've got an audience, and that's more than most of the CEOs can say. People love you or hate you, but they'd love to listen to you. So You should do it.
Oh, Murray Pesum was like that too. He had a lot of people that didn't like him, lots that liked him, but he did find a couple major mines in Canada.
Yeah, we knew how to get the money in, right? That's
It's a big
what
part
you're
of
going
the
to need.
job. You know, and I think that's why the storyteller part of a public company is such an crucially important. You got to know how to find stuff, but you also have to know how to tell the story, and you have to be able to adapt to the changing times. Tommy, when I first got in this business, it was all about phoning people, talking to people on the phone, or faxing them stuff. Look at what we got now. We got chat.ceo.ca, my second home now.
Right. But you're not going to call it chat.ceo anymore. It's just going to be ceo.ca as of next week.
Perfect. That'll make it easy.
Hey, I hate to do this, but I got to run.
Okay, Tommy. So I'm gonna let you run. I'm gonna wrap things up. Thanks a lot for joining me.
One more thing. If there's anybody here from the Allan Berry Reports audience or from ceo.ca, if you haven't already seen my numerous promotions about our conference on March 5th, the ceo.ca and Eric Coffin's HRA Journal and Oil and Gas Investment Bulletin are together hosting the Subscriber Summit in Toronto. And it's going to be, I think, a very exciting and informative, focused one-day event to learn about 15 companies, to hear from some amazing keynotes, and meet a lot of very influential movers and shakers in the business. So anybody from your show, your audience, and our site, they're invited. It's a free event, and the lunch is on us. And we'd love to have any Allan Berry readers there. What's it going to take to get you to come to PDAC?
I'm working on it, Tommy. I'm trying to get there. I want to cover the show because I did it last time, and I think it's the best show. It's, you got comfortable seats there, good food, really high quality companies, and good commentary from guys like you and Eric and Schaefer. And I think now's the time to be looking at oil too. So yeah, I'm highly recommending my people.
We have some really, really awesome speakers like Zach George, Front Fork Capital. Like that's like, I mean, to me, this guy is going to evolve into Carl Icahn of our era. He's going to be huge. He already is, and he's young, 33, I guess, activist investor with a big fund making moves. And then you got Warren Irwin's running one of Canada's largest hedge funds focused on resource space.
Long time contrary investor.
So there's great people, and I don't think that like a room like this assembles that often. I'd love to have anybody to get involved. There's not a lot of tickets left. They'll be sold out in a few days. So please come.
Save one tentatively for me.
I'll save one for you, and our camera guy will be there. And if you want to do some Allan Berry videos, you should use him.
Tommy knows
I like the North Arrow video.
He knows how to sweet talk me. Bring a camera and good food. I'll be there.
Exactly. But you haven't been. It doesn't look like you've been eating very much, Allan.
Just salad and protein, buddy.
Thank you for doing the show. I want to see you get Ben Cox from Aston Bay on here. Just the two of you. I think you guys have interesting chemistry. I think Aston Bay is doing some good work, and you should talk about it.
Well, so, I'm getting more
back here.
Gwen Preston got me more bullish on copper again. She's got me wearing my green gold hat again, and we'll work on getting him on there. He's kind of shy, I think, Tommy.
Yeah, right. But anyway, I see Rob McLeod's uncle Donald Trump on TV behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I got to jump. But thank you so much for having me on your show, Allan, and it's great to work with you together in this little social media way, and look forward to more.
Awesome, Tommy. Thank you very much for coming. We'll get you on again. I know you got to run, so I'll just wrap things up. Before I close, I really want to reiterate what Tommy had to say about his conference. It is just the day before the PDAC starts, and I attended the Subscriber Summit in Vancouver. I found I think there was 12 or 13 companies. I felt compelled enough to do a report and talk about 9 of those 12 companies. I don't think any conference can filter companies down like that for you. And so if you're in Toronto for the PDAC, I highly recommend you go and check out that Subscriber Summit and attend, because it will give you some really good ideas, some good thoughts, and you have to go. Before I close, I always have to reiterate that my work is about information purpose, for information purposes only. Before making any investment decisions, it's important to do your homework and speak with your financial advisors. On that note, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.